Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Scarlet with Scarlet's Little Crafty Corner, and y'all, today is the start of week 5. Well, it's actually not the whole week, it's just 3 days, but it's still April. So that is why I decided to go ahead and make this the final whip and chat, the final 3 days for the event of hashtag Feeling Groovy that I am hosting through the Facebook group Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. Y'all, I have had a blast doing this. It's been some work. I'm not gonna lie, it's been work, but I have enjoyed going down memory lane, and I've really enjoyed seeing all the canvases everybody's working on. I've enjoyed the fellowship, getting to know everyone through the comments, through you answering the questions that I've asked, through the Facebook. This has been great. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll get right into this last whip and chat. Okay, so this is week 5. This is going to be Monday to Wednesday, which is the 28th through the 30th. All right, Thursday is the beginning of a new month, and I want to stop on Wednesday because I don't want this to go into someone else's event. All right, so with that being said, you have now got 3 days to complete your projects, whether it's diamond painting or whatever craft that you have chosen to do. I am not asking for a completion. My whole thing throughout this month has just been participation. Please participate. That is all that I have asked. And I have had several people that wanted to join the event, but then I don't know what happened to them because they've not participated. But I have had several that has commented on every single video. They've answered all the questions. They have subscribed to my channel. Some of them have Facebook, some of them don't. And the ones who do have Facebook, they're in the Facebook group, Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. And in the group, every day this month, I have asked a trivia question. And for the most part, everybody has participated in the trivia questions. Speaking of, if you are in the Facebook group and you are answering the trivia questions, if you answered the question correctly, I liked your answer. If you didn't get a like, your answer was wrong. So that way I didn't have to go back, because I didn't want to spoil the fun for anybody who is just kind of late to the game. So that's why I didn't put any answers on there. But if you answered the question correctly, I liked your answer. So that was that. Sorry, got distracted by the Buster for a second. Hold on. Sorry about that. I had to pause and get the ball for Buster. He hit it, and it went under one of my cabinets. Okay. So where was I? Oh, if you answered the trivia questions correct, I liked it. Next thing is I will put a picture up here of the prize that I plan on giving away. It was sponsored by JeniRose Designs, and she is on Facebook. I will leave a link in my description box for her Facebook group. If you have Facebook, you can just go right in there, and she has got tumblers, bags, release papers, and it's not just the ones you see here. You can get those if you want a Feeling Groovy tumbler. She can make it for you. You don't. It's not just strictly for this event. She sells them. She can make you whatever. But go check out her Facebook group. Okay. Also, I will leave a link in my description box for the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. If you have Facebook, please go join the group. We do an event every single month. All the events, if you look into the featured tab, you will see a calendar, and it has all of the events for the year. It will tell you who's hosting it, what month, and what the event theme is. Okay, with this Facebook group, this is not just you posting stuff willy-nilly. I did a rose, so here it is. This event is themed projects only. And the reason that we have done this is because with other Facebook groups that post just whatever they want, there is a lot of spam. There becomes a lot of chaos. So we have kept it to themed projects. So this month is Feeling Groovy. You can post anything that you are doing that you consider groovy. Last month was princesses. So anything that you considered a princess, you can post. But we are asking that you don't just post, whatever. That is a rule that Laura, Crafty Chef Diamond, has set, and so we're going to go by her rules. So with that being said, on Thursday is May 1st. That will start the event that Crafty Chef Diamond is doing, which is Laura, and that is food. So anything that is food related, and this is the 2-year celebration of Diamond Painting with Friends, okay? And again, if you are not in the group that has the 2.0 at the end of it, you're in the wrong group. So make sure that the Facebook group you are in is Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0. Okay, so May is the 2-year celebration. Laura will be doing food. It is anything that is food related. And then the theme for June will be with Amy's Sparkly Diamond Painting. She will be hosting this, and it is anything that is plant or garden related. All right. And then we go back to Laura, Crafty Chef Diamond, and in July, she will be doing Disney. So it's anything Disney. So y'all can post anything that is Disney. In August, we have the Crafty Witch UK Arietta, and it is Harvest and Home. In September is True Vampire Crafts, Minz, and she is doing Remembrance and Memorial. In October, we are doing Breast Cancer Awareness, and that is with Diamond Pita. And then in November, we are doing Hello Kitty. And that is going to be with Diamond Painting with Jack and the Lounge with Annette. And then we will also be doing Luna and Lichens, which will be with Wendy, which is diamonds and stuff. Now, side note, next month, as Laura is doing food for the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 group, Wendy with diamonds and stuff, she is doing her own event through her channel, and it's going to be desserts. And you can go check Wendy's channel out. She does a lot of side events that really isn't with the Diamond Painting with Friends, but I think she's doing one a month herself. So y'all go check her out. Please subscribe to everyone's channel. That is the whole purpose of this Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 group, is to meet and mingle, help these people grow their channels, enjoy making new friendships, and all that. Okay, so that is the events that are coming up. So, like I said, I don't want the Feelin' Groovy event to go into Laura's event. So we are stopping on April the 30th, which is what we're going to do anyway. But with this being an event that is doing a giveaway, I want to give everybody a chance to finish their projects and get me a completion picture. And again, I'm not asking for a completion, but if you do finish your project, please go ahead, send me a completion, and I am going to do the prize drawing on the 3rd, which is going to be Saturday. And the reason I'm doing this is that way it gives everybody a chance to finish if they can, or at least work on it. I know people work. I know people do other things. Just like me, YouTube is not my life. I try to go through and I try to watch everybody's channels, comment on their videos, but there is just not enough hours in the day for me to do that. And like I said, I have a life. I can't go to everybody's videos as soon as they post them, but I try to get as much as I can. So we're going to do a drawing on Saturday, May the 3rd, and that's going to, if you participated in the event and answered questions, posted pictures, did trivia, if you participated in this event, not just say, hey, I want to do the event, and then you never did anything. This is for people who actually participated. Then we will have a drawing on the 3rd. I don't know how I'm going to do the drawing yet, but I'm going to do it on the 3rd. So there will be a video posted on Saturday the 3rd with the winner. Okay? It is only USA residents only because of the price of shipping to or out of the US. Okay. Did I get everything? I'm looking over my notes. And yeah, well, another thing I need to address with the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 group is Laura has posted, I think she has it pinned in the featured section also. 2026, we are asking for 2 people each month to do an event. Not together, but separate events. So that means, say January, we open up the 2026 event. That could be someone doing an event on birds, and then someone else doing an event on cars. And then that way you have a choice. You can either do both events for that month, or you can do, if you have a bird canvas but no car canvas, you can do birds, or vice versa. So that is why we're doing this, is to give everybody a choice, because not everybody likes, say, the Feeling Groovy event. Not everybody has a canvas that, you know, fits the theme. Not everybody wants to do Feeling Groovy. So this way next year you have a choice. You can either do one or the other, or both. Okay, so that's how we're doing next year's event, and I think it's gonna really be fun, and it's gonna turn out great. All right, so let's get into this week's whip and chat. I know last week's whip and chat was boring. Oh, I had to get a drink. Or it was to me. I will be completely honest. Last week's was sort of boring, but I am running out of ideas. Last week I did all 60s. This week I'm doing 70s. But I don't know. I like I said, I have ran out of ideas. So, okay. This is going to kind of be all over the place. And, you know, I wish YouTube would let us play music. And we would do Name That Tune or something. But YouTube will not let us play music in the background. They will give us a strike. 3 strikes, you're out. They take your YouTube channel away. So I don't want to do all that. So let me... Y'all, I may or I may not finish. I'm probably going to finish, though. I just have this section is almost done. And then all I have left is this top row. And then I will be done. So, y'all grab whatever you're working on. And let's get this going. I'm just going to grab a color, because this is all the colors I have left, is like, what? 8 colors left on this row, and then this row will be completed. I've really enjoyed working this canvas. The colors alone have been absolutely phenomenal. So, what am I doing? What is this? This is the color that I am doing, which is the arrows. All right, so 70s fads. Now, I'm just going to kind of go through these. I'm not going to do like I did last time and read off a bunch of crap that I got off the internet. I mean, some of this will be, but for the most part, I'm just really winging it. I've done a lot of research this month on 60s and 70s everything. And, yeah, I'm winging it here, y'all. And I just want to say also that y'all, I have done this complete canvas with the original 2 glue dots and the original putty that I stuck in my multi-placer. So, this is why I don't do wax, because you don't have to be bothered with switching all this crap out all the time, because it stops working. And it's just as strong as it was when I first put it in. So, all right. So the disco music started in the 70s, which led to the influence of today's pop and techno genre. Now, I do like some disco. I really didn't get into all that. And the techno, I mean, I guess, you know, it might have a good beat, some of it, but I just wasn't into all of that. I was still in my easy listening, classic rock, country phase. So yeah, I wasn't really into the whole disco scene. And my papers are going to be in my way for me to slide my canvas. Okay. The 70s also saw the rise of environmental awareness, which included, and I did not know this, the first Earth Day was started in 1970. I didn't know that. I don't know what I thought, but I mean, I know it's not a holiday that we, like Easter or Thanksgiving or nothing like that, but I didn't know that it originated in the 70s. So, also, that started in the 70s with this fad was organic gardening, which a lot of people still do, and also recycling. So I didn't know either one of those, which is really awesome that it has been around that long. Also, a fad that started in the 70s was punk rock, which I am not really into that either. And I think they said that the punk rock started in the UK. I forgot what bands it was that started it. I did see it, but I didn't write that down. Something else that was started in the 70s was leisure suits. And when I say leisure, my dad probably had some. I'm sure he did. I know he had some of them silky, crazy looking shirts when I was growing up. So I know he had some of those. My dad wasn't never really a suit wearing person. So, yeah, he may not have had any leisure suits. Another fad was, even though people roller skated, it really became popular in the 70s, especially with the disco. People were roller skating, disco, all that kind of went hand in hand. Another thing were CB radios. Now, I think Nancy with Pampered with Diamonds, I think that's the name of her thing. Y'all, I'm really bad with channel names. When I get to know who the person is, I start calling them by their actual name instead of their channel. So, Nancy, if that's not the name of your channel, I apologize. But I think she does still CB radio type things. I remember my dad, my uncles, and my grandfather all had CB radios. Now, I don't know what their handles were. My grandfather was a trucker, and I remember he used to bring his semi home, and when he would come in, and then I think after a while, he only worked on, during the week, and he was always home on weekends. Because I remember as a kid, when he would be home and we would be over there, I would always get up in his semi and pull the horn. And I remember they all had CBs. One of my uncles was like, oh my God, up into the CBs. He had the CB towers, antenna tower things. My grandfather did, of course. But yeah, my dad, all of them did the whole CB radio thing. And then, let's see, another fad was pet rocks. Do y'all remember pet rocks? I remember them. I remember them coming. I meant to write down who started that, but somebody started the pet rock thing, and it kind of was a craze there for a while. And I think it was a fluke. But I remember I had one, and I'm wanting to say it came in a little box, and it either had a face on it, or it may have had eyeballs. I remember, but I don't remember, if that makes sense. Okay, another fad was mood rings. Okay, you know, I've talked about mood rings a couple times through this, but I've had a couple of mood rings, and y'all, they really didn't work for me. I don't guess they worked for me with, you know, the little paper thing that you get that tells you, oh, if it turns this color, it's because you're mad, or you're sad, or you're happy. I don't think my mood ring ever turned colors. But the person that invented the mood ring, his name was Marvin Wernick, and he invented them in 1960. Now, the guy who actually sold the mood rings, he took the idea and he just took off with it. His name was Joshua Reynolds, and he sold the idea that they could foretell a person's mood when he started selling them in 1975. So pretty much what it was whatever the mood ring was made out of, when it got heated up, warm, that's when it would change colors. So if you had your ring on for a long time and it started getting warm, then it would change colors, and then that's how, you know, you knew supposedly what your mood was. I guess the guy was pretty smart, because I think they still sell them now today in certain shops. So I guess he was pretty smart about that. Let's see. I think that's about all. I think that's about all I had for, like, fads. If that, you know, to be considered a fad. But did y'all know that, which, like I said, I have learned a lot. And a lot of the stuff I knew, but just, I guess, forgot until I started researching the 60s and the 70s. So, 1970, as far as technology goes, 1970 was the when the video game industry came out, and their first games was Pong and Space Invaders, which I remember playing both of those. And I remember even playing those when they were like arcade games, like the big arcade, not just a video game that you hooked up to your TV. So I remember playing those. The first commercial microprocessor, the Intel 4004, began in 1970. So, yeah, a lot of our technology that, you know, we still have today, of course, it's, you know, gotten a lot better over the years, but it all started in the 70s. Media. The debut of the sports network, ESPN, started in the 70s. The Okay, then as far as political and social events, now I don't really talk about politics or religion or anything like that on my channel. But this is just part of, this is just part of the past that happened. Okay, you got your Watergate scandal, which was the scandal that led to the resignation of Nixon. You got the Vietnam War, which included the fall of Saigon in 1975, which marked the end of the war. You got your energy crisis that happened in 73, where the gas line shortages, and then you've got the Iran hostage crisis, which was the seizure of U.S. embassy employees in Iran of 1979, which lasted over 400 days, and that was a big international event. Even though I was 8 then, I remember that. Okay, and then, sorry, I've got my windows are open. So then we have got just some different things that happened in the 70s. The king of rock and roll, which, if y'all don't know, is Elvis. He died of a heart attack at the age of 42 in Memphis, Tennessee in 1977. Then we've got the Beatles split in 1970. Let's see, what else do I have on here? Oh my gosh. And I went back into the fads, which was what I just told y'all. See, I kind of made notes. I had all this stuff that I had printed off, and then I went back and made notes so that it would be a little bit better. Okay, well, that might be all of that. Yes, that is all of that. Y'all, this video may not be any better than the last video, but I kind of did all the cool stuff first. Maybe I should have done the boring stuff first, but then you probably wouldn't have came back. Okay, so let's get into movies. Now, I will say that I researched, I just Googled what was the top 10 movies of the 70s. And then I just wrote down the top 10. Y'all, I might have talked too soon about my glue dots here. But I've got something on it. Because I diamond painted last night and it was still good. Alright, so the top 10 movies of the 70s. Number 1, y'all, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I find myself, I've done watched it 103 times. But I find myself, anytime that it is on, if I am just lazing the day away and I'm not, not doing anything and I'm channel surfing, if I find this movie, I will stop and watch it. And that is The Godfather. And The Godfather came out in 72. And then part 2 of The Godfather came out in 74. But I absolutely love that movie. Number 2 is Apocalypse Now. And that came out in 79. Then number 3, which is one of my husband's favorite movies, I can take it or leave it, is Rocky. And that came out in 76. I have seen it several times, but it's not something I'm going to sit down and actually watch if it's on. Okay, and then we have One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which was 1975 is when that came out. Oop, I almost missed one. And then we have number 5 is Jaws. I have seen that, I think, twice. And that's probably about it. But that came out in 75. Yeah, I might end up having to change my glue dots. We'll see. And it could just be because these are ABs. That's probably what it is. I get so tired. I like the way that they look. Don't get me wrong. But I am not a fan of working with them. But I do like the way they look. Some of them. Okay. Then number 6. Now, this is a favorite to me. I have seen probably the first 4. And that's about it. And that was Star Wars. And that came out in 77. Yep. My favorite were the little Ewoks. And then I thought Jabba the Hutt, I thought he was gross. But yeah, I liked the little Ewoks. And if you were in the 60s, 70s, whatever, I remember as a kid having those little toys, and they were monkeys, and they were called Munchie Cheese. Anybody remember those? And they would have like little outfits. They always put me in mind of the Ewoks. Okay, and then we have The Exorcist with Linda Blair. That came out in 73. That I've seen that one several times. They, as many times as they try to remake that with other people, it's never going to be the same. But they usually never are. Anything that they try to redo, it's never the same. It never has that same quality or, whatever. Okay. And then we have number 8, Blazing Saddles. And that was 1974 when that one came out. I thought I had a double. Jeez. Okay, and then number 9 is All the President's Men. That came out in 76. And then number 10 was The Sting. And that came out in 73. Now, you might Google the top 10 and you might get a different answer. But I took the first one that I seen that listed the movies. All right, so Now, we're going to go to songs. Okay, so do any of you know what the top Billboard chart song of the 70s? 70s. Not year, but the whole 70 through 79 was, and still is very popular today. They play this all the time in just about all kinds of movies, commercials, skits, yeah, you name it, and you're going to hear this in something. And it is Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And it is widely considered the biggest hit of the 70s. It was released in 75 and remains one of the most iconic and celebrated songs of the decade. Other top hits include Mull of Kintry by Wings. I don't even know if I've ever heard that. And You're the One That I Want by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. I used to love Olivia Newton-John. Grease was one of my favorite movies also. And I will say, even though my name is Scarlet, I was not named after Gone with the Wind, but I do collect Gone with the Wind stuff. I love anything Gone with the Wind. I have the movie. I have watched the movie 107 times. I have got the books. I have also got the book of part 2 of Gone with the Wind. Don't remember what the name of it is off the top of my head, but there is a part 2. And then, yeah, but I was not named after Scarlet from Gone with the Wind. My dad actually named me after the Scarlet maple tree. And yes, it is a thing. You can look it up. My grandfather used to work at a tree nursery, and that's where the name came from, was Scarlet Maple. Okay. Which is why I have tattoos of maple leaves. Alright, so I am going to go through the top 50 of the 1970s songs. And I know 50 sounds like a lot, but it's not really. Alright, a lot of these songs I have heard growing up. This song that I am fixing to tell you used to be one of my grandmother's favorite songs. And I used to sing it to her when I was little. And it was You Light Up My Life by Debbie Boone. And that came out in 77. Okay, I think I got all of these. But of course, as soon as I put them up, I'll find one. Number 2, I do not have these numbered, so, but they are in order that they were presented to me on Google. Tonight's the Night by Rod Stewart, and that was in 1977. Hold on. Alright. And like I said, I wish YouTube would let us just play music, but they won't. They strike you, and then, like I said, I don't want to lose my YouTube channel, so I'm not gonna do it. But if they did let us, I would have played a snippet of all these songs. The next one is La Freak by Chick, which was in 1979. And unless I hear it, I have no idea what that one is either. How Deep Is Your Love The Bee Gees, 1978. Here you go, Laura. I Just Want to Be Your Everything by Andy Gibb in 1977. I say that because she said that she used to love Andy Gibb. That's what she put in my last video. I asked who was your favorite band or song growing up, and she said Andy Gibb. So there you go. Silly Love Songs by Wings, and that was in 1976. Let's Get It On by Marvin Gaye, 1973. I'm just looking to see where these are. All right. Then we have Night Fever by the Bee Gees, and that is 1978. And y'all, are the songs coming up in your head as I sing them? They do mine. And if I wasn't too embarrassed, which I can sing pretty good, I mean, I'm not tooting my horn or nothing. I can. I would sing some, but I'm not. And then we've got Tie a Yellow Ribbon Around the Old Oak Tree, and that was by Tony Orlando and Dawn, and that was in 1973. I remember singing that in the back seat of the car when we'd go places with my dad. And then Shadow Dancing, Andy Gibb, and that was in 1978. Then we have Staying Alive, and that was the Bee Gees in 1978. Then we've got Hot Stuff by Donna Summer, and that was in 79. Y'all hear Buster in the background barking. Him and Booger are in the living room playing. And then we've got You're So Vain by Carly Simon, and that was in 73. And then we've got Play That Funky Music. That was Wild Cherry in 1976. And the ones that I are telling you about, it's the original people who, because I think that song there's several songs that have come out that other people have redone. And then we've got My Sharona, which was the Knack, and that was in 1979. We've got Killing Me Softly with his song. That was Roberta Flack in 73. So how many of y'all are singing? How many of y'all, since I have done these videos, have actually gone and looked up 60s and 70s stuff, or went back and listened to music that you had forgotten about? I have. I sure have. I get in these moods. Sometimes when I'm diamond painting, I will listen to my podcast. But sometimes if I'm in a mood that I want to listen to music, then I put on my Pandora. So since doing this event, y'all, I have listened to more 60s and 70s music than I have in probably 10 years. So the next one is Best of My Love, The Emotions, which is in 1977. Okay, and then we have The Way We Were, Barbara Streisand, 1974. Then we have A Fifth of Beethoven, which was Walter Murphy and the Big Apple Band in 76. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor, and that was 1979. Joy to the World and Not the Christmas Song. That was by Three Dog Night, and that was in 71. I love that song. And then we have My Love by Paul McCartney and the Wings in 73. We have Alone Again by Gilbert O'Sullivan in 72. I don't know if I know that song. Like I said, if I heard it, I might. But some of them, if I don't recognize the title, I've probably not heard it. All right, and then we have The First Time I Ever Saw Your Face. That was by Roberta Flack also, and that was in 72. Oh my goodness. I printed these papers off and they're getting stuck together. All right, and then we have Rhinestone Cowboy by Glenn Campbell, and that was in 75. And that was also a movie with John Travolta, if you did not know that. Okay, and then we have Kiss You All Over, which was Exile, and that was in 78. And we have I'll Be There by the Jackson 5. That was in 70. Then we have Evergreen, which is the love theme from A Star Is Born, and that is Barbra Streisand in 77. Okay, we have The Disco Duck, Rick Dees in 76. And then we have Do You Think I'm Sexy, Rod Stewart, and that was in 79. And then we have Margaret May, which was also by Rod Stewart in 71. I really like Rod Stewart. He's one of my favorites. Then we have I Write the Songs, Barry Manilow, that was in 76. We have Boogie Oogie Oogie, A Taste of Honey, 1978. Then we have Philadelphia Freedom. That was Elton John in 75. Then we have Keep On Truckin', Eddie Kendricks in 73. We have Crocodile Rock by Elton John, 1973. American Pie by Don McLean, 72. Then we have Bad Girls by Donna Summer in 79. And then, y'all, this song is an all-time classic. I don't know of anybody who probably wouldn't know this song. And when my kids were little, I used to sing this song to them because, well, and it was shake, 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 shake your booty, shake your booty. Anyway, that is Casey and the Sunshine Band, and that was in 76. So I would take my kids when they were little and shake their butts, and I would sing that to them. All right, then we have, I don't know, y'all, just the things. Seasons in the Sun, and that was Terry Jacks, and that was in 74. And then we have, this is one of my favorite songs. I have a lot of favorite songs. But this is one of them. And my dad used to sing this. And it is Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And that was from Simon and Garfunkel. And that was in 1970. Love that song. And then we've got Knock 3 Times. That was Dawn in 1971. And then we have I'm Sorry, John Denver in 75. And then we have Don't Go Breaking My Heart, which was Elton John and Kiki D. And that was in 76. And then we have Kiss and Say Goodbye. That was the Manhattans, and that came out in 76. And the last 5 was It's Too Late by Carole King, and that was in 71. And then we have They Long to Be Close to You. That was the Carpenters in 1970. And then we have, and I have this record. I have this album. Love Will Keep Us Together by Captain and Tennille. And that is in 75. And then we have The Streak by Ray Stevens in 74. That man was hilarious. He is known for his funny songs. You know, I really like him. But yeah, that was in 74. And then our last song that came in at 50 was Disco Lady, Johnny Taylor, and that was in 76. So, that was your top 50 that Google gave me of the songs of the 70s. And y'all, there are so many more, and there are so many more artists. I mean, because you got Elvis, and you've got, you know, you've got so many genres. But, you know, like I said, that's what popped up for me when I Googled top, actually, I Googled top 100 of the Billboard charts of the 70s, if I can talk. And that was the top 50. I didn't want to do all 100 because, Lord, I don't know how long that I need a timer when I do these whipping chats. But I didn't want this to go like way long. All right, so let's go through some slang and then maybe drop some trivia. And then I am going to ask the last 3 questions of the event. All right, so some of the 70s slang were crib, which meant your apartment, your home, your place of residence. I got a skitty, which meant they had to leave quickly or hurry up and leave. Keep on stepping, which meant keep it moving, get out of here. You didn't want somebody around, you tell them, get to stepping. Or keep on stepping. Then we've got my man, which meant hello, or, you know, it was just a greeting, just a general greeting. And then we've got the shaggin' wagon, which, okay, everybody knows what a shaggin' wagon is. It was a van that was tricked out with a bed in the back. Okay? Enough said. What's cracking meant, you know, how's it going? And then we have funky, which meant cool in an eccentric way. We got groovy, which meant cool in a hip way. You got far out, which meant very cool or weird. And then we have off the hook, which meant cool to the extreme. Then you had Slammin', which meant awesomely cool. I mean, there are so many ways to say something was cool. And then we got Bad, which meant good or great. That's bad. Yeah. And then you got Fab, which meant short for fabulous. And then you had a Freaky Deaky, which meant something was very strange. You got Good Vibes, which meant positive energy. Then you got the Hairy Eyeball, which meant somebody who was looking at you like nasty, like a nasty stare. And then the Lowdown, which meant what they say now, spilling the tea. Back then was, give me the lowdown, which meant the truth or facts. Threads, which meant clothes. The Skinny, which meant the truth or the real story. All right, and then you got Brick House, which meant an attractive, curvy female. Then you got Dork, which I still say that, or dorky. Nerd or nerdish. Then you've got a Closet Disco Queen, which is somebody who dances at home where nobody else can see them. They don't do it in public. Then you got Foxy Mama, which was a sexy lady. And then Dude, which was just referring to a guy. Young Blood, which was just a young guy. Then we've got Bummer, which was too bad. We got Down With, I'm down with it. And that meant you were okay with it. Give me some skin meant that it was a, how people do a high five. This was a low five. That was a give me some skin. Then you got Jeepers Creepers, which meant, oh my gosh. And then you have, let's see. We got Boogie, which meant to dance, or Boogie Down, which meant to dance enthusiastically. Book It, which meant to run away quickly. He booked it on out of here. You got Chill, which meant just, hey, relax. And then we've got Gig, which meant temporary work or a job. And then we've got Take a Chill Pill, which we said that in the 80s and 90s, and that just meant calm down, chill. Go take a chill pill. Let's see. And then we've got Trippin'. He's tripping, which meant acting crazy. Then you've got Square Biz. Now that I've never heard of that one. That one was we're in agreement. I've heard, being a square. Bugging out means freaking out. Let's see. Psych. I still say that. Anyway, that meant to trick somebody, like your pants are falling down. Psych. And snaps meant my bad, like snap. Okay. Let's see. A lot of these I still use. That's crazy. Catch my drift. That means, do you understand what I'm saying? Flower power, which means choosing peace over war. What a nightmare. Something that is very wrong or difficult. What's your 20? That's also CB language. That means just tell me where you're at. And let's see. Let me see. Well, here's the last one. Ah, suke suke, which meant, yeah, baby. Okay. So, do y'all remember those slang terms? Like I said, I still say a lot of those. All right. Well, let's throw some trivia in here. I'm not going to do a lot of it. Like I said, I have no idea how long I have been talking. Plus, I have stopped and started a couple times, so I don't know. But let's see. Oh. Which classic arcade game from 78 stars a chomping yellow hero dodging ghosts? That is so easy. That would be Pac-Man. Which legendary space probe blasted off in 77? That was Voyager 1. Which heavyweight champion danced around the ring to win the Rumble in the Jungle in 74? Y'all know that one? That was Muhammad Ali. And he is from Kentucky. What was his catchphrase? Oh my gosh. Something sting like a bee. I can't remember what it was. If you remember, put it in the comments. Let's see. Which legendary Beatle invited us all to dream big with the hit Imagine in 71? I love that song. And that was John Lennon. This is one of my favorite bands. Like, favorite bands. What rock giants took us on a mystical journey with Stairway to Heaven in the early 70s? That would be Led Zeppelin. My other all-time favorite, well, I'll just tell you what my all-time favorite is. It is the band who in 73 came out with the album Dark Side of the Moon. Do y'all know who that is? That would be Pink Floyd. They also did The Wall, and that was in 79. So, yeah, Pink Floyd, they are my band. Then we got which rockers serenaded us with Hotel California in 77? That would be the Eagles. And then Dancing Queen came out in 76 by ABBA. See, there's a whole lot of different artists and bands that did not pop up in that top 50. Like this one. Okay. Now, Pink Floyd and Leonard Skinner are probably tied with me as in my favorite band. And Leonard Skinner came out with Freebird in 73. And then you've got Aerosmith, who came out with Dream On in 73. You got Tapestry, came out in 71 by Carole King. Do y'all know who that actor was that played Luke Skywalker in the 77 Space Adventure? Which was Star Wars. That would be Mark Hamill. Blah, 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 blah. Then Rocky Balboa was played by Sylvester Stallone in Rocky in 76. Steven Spielberg came out with Jaws in 75. Diana Ross. Okay, wait a minute. The Wizard of Oz came out in 73, and I'll just read this. It says, which singing sensation took Dorothy on her magical journey in 73 twist of the Wizard of Oz? And that was Diana Ross. I couldn't figure out how to word that correctly without reading the whole thing. Let's see. Martin Scorsese was the legendary director that drove us crazy in Taxi Driver, which came out in 76. And To Kill a Mockingbird came out in 76. And Gregory Peck is the one who came out with that. Oh my God. And yeah, I watched all these. Which smooth talking actor brought the scheming J.R. Ewing to life in the iconic TV series Dallas? That'd be Larry Hagman. And let's see. Which gritty crime drama had us rooting for Private Eye Jim Rockford as he cracked cases with style? That was the Rockford Files. And then we've got Morgan Mindy said, what quirky alien characters stole our hearts in the beloved TV series Mork and Mindy, which was Mork, which was played by Robin Williams. And then we had in 75, Henry Winkler played the Fonz in Happy Days. And y'all, that is all I got. All right. So, that brings us to the conclusion of this Whip and Chat, which is the last Whip and Chat. This is week 5. This is for April the 28th through April the 30th. Will be the last day of the event, which is on Wednesday. So I hope you've all had a blast going down memory lane with me, because I know I have. I have thoroughly enjoyed doing this. I will be doing the drawing on the 3rd, May the 3rd, which is Saturday. Just, it's the last day of the week. Now, y'all might want to pay attention to that video. It's not going to be a Whip and Chat, but if I can swing it, if I can figure out how to do it, I am going to put a presentation on for that video. and you're going to have to watch it in order to find out who the winner is, okay? So that video will have to be you actually watching the video. And I'm not going to say anything else about that. So I hope you enjoy it, though. Again, I am going to say thank you to everyone who participated in the Feelin' Groovy event for April of the Diamond Painting with Friends 2.0 group that I have hosted this month. This was my very first event that I've hosted. I've been in several, on the outskirts, but this is the very first one I've ever actually hosted, and I have had a ball. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Now, here are the last questions of the event, and I would appreciate if each and every one of you would answer these questions in the comment section. And don't forget, all links to JeniRose, to the Facebook group, all the events, everything is in my description box. Y'all go check it out. All info to everything, my email, Instagram, everything is in the description box. All right, so question number 1. What was your fondest childhood memory? Leave it in the comments. Question number 2. What was the best part of this event for you? Leave it in the comments. Question number 3. What would you have liked to have seen more or less of in this event? Leave it in the comments. And bonus question number 4. Would you be interested in me doing this event again next year? Leave it in the comments. So, again, I hope you've all enjoyed the event. I hope it brought back fond memories of days long ago. I hope you have maybe gone back and re-listened to some of your favorite songs that you've not heard in a long time. Maybe even watched a movie that you forgot that you enjoyed when you were a kid. Whatever it may be, I hope you've enjoyed the event, because I've enjoyed doing it. So, with that being said, thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope you all stick with me. Even after the event is over, I'm still going to be doing videos. It just, might be different things. It might be product reviews. It might be, I don't know. It could be anything. It could be videos of my dogs. I don't know. So, anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and please answer the questions in the comments. Go ahead, post your finishes, your progress pictures in the group, or email them to me, because if you're emailing them to me, I am posting them in the group myself, so everybody can see what you're working on. And yeah, so that's it. I hope you come back Saturday, the 3rd, May the 3rd, to check out the video that I will have for you that will have the winner. All right, y'all. So enough of me rambling on. I hope you have a great week, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.